What's up, Tiny Track crew? We are back for a DIECAST Racing Fast and the Furious event right here at the Tiny Track Cars Open Circuit. It is the new Blood Showdown. We have Hector's Civic and Ja Rule's Integra. First up in group number 1, we have Brian's R34, followed by DK himself, Drift King, that Nissan 350Z. And then we have a beautiful Acura Integra, driven by Ja Rule, aka Edwin. And last but not least, ooh, that's a beautiful Supra. Beautiful white Celebration Supra in this group. Who is gonna take group number 1 and move on to the next round right here in the New Bloods tournament? We have a new track layout right here, folks. It gets swervy, it gets swervy, and over the jump they go. Brian's R34 Skyline is out front early, leading the pack into that new turn cam. We see Brian absolutely flying out there. Down into the final 180, he goes over this cross jump and lands it smooth. Brian takes 5 points in race number 1. And down across the finish line, Edwin takes second place right in front of DK's eyes. And here comes the Supra flipping over, landing on his hood and sliding to a screeching halt across the finish line. We're gonna take a closer look at this pass by Edwin in the Integra right at the finish line to claim 3 points in race number 1. 2 of these cars will move on to the next round. 2 of them will be eliminated. The point system here is 5, 3, 2, 1, if you don't know, and these cars rotate 1 position clockwise every single time. Let me ask you something. Do you have a favorite Fast and the Furious car? If you wanted to maybe, pick your favorite car and earn some points and climb the leaderboard, you can do that at our Fantasy DIECAST Racing League. It's all happening at fantasy.tinytrackcars.com, where each week you get to pick your car and earn points. And oh my gosh, Edwin flies off the track. The Integra murders many people, I think. I'm not sure if they're alive or dead, but I will tell you that is, oh my gosh, that's 6 or 7 people. You have to back up. I don't even think that safety fence would have helped if we put it there. He jumps so high up and over the safety fence. We hear that splat. There's blood everywhere, but it looks like his car is in good shape. He's going to head back to the start line despite getting 0 points after that DNF. And what I was saying was, if you aren't playing in their Fantasy DIECAST Racing League, head to fantasy.tinytrackcars.com and get yourself signed up, where you can earn points and climb the leaderboard. And you can also invite your friends who will join the leaderboard, and you'll have your own friends leaderboard where you can compete against them and see who can make the better picks each and every week. Brian's R34 Skyline doing a grind across the top of that turn. Fancy moves, but it's the Integra out in front. Here comes Brian on the outside. High speed turn on the outside. Let's watch that again. Holy cannoli, look at that speed and skill driving right in front of the Integra. Down across the finish line he goes. Huge air, crossing the finish line and taking 5 more points. The Integra cases the jump. The Supra cases the jump, and the 350Z lands it perfect. Let's watch that again. The Supra bounces, flips upside down off the spoon building there, but does cross the finish line for second place. We have one more race. Brian's moving on in the Skyline, but it's anyone's game for that last spot, which is spot number 2 in group number 1. Brian's in the back left. Can he do a perfect 5-5-5-5? A flawless victory, 4 wins in a row, which is 5 points each, which is 5 times 4 is 20. If I have that many fingers, I would be able to count it. But nope, it's DK and the 350Z absolutely flying out there. Down across the finish line he goes, barely beats Brian. Brian launches off of his car right towards the camera. What a crazy view we saw there. That will probably secure the spot for DK in round number 2. He will move on with 10 points, and Brian will move on with 18 points. Edwin and the Integra and the white Supra will go home. Amazing performance by Brian in the R34. He'll move on. We know that is a crowd favorite. He plays pretty well in our Decide Your Ride qualifying video, and a lot of people at the Fantasy League have voted for that R34. We headed into race number 2, and another crowd favorite is Brian's Supra, and then Han in the S15, Sylvia, Jesse in the Volkswagen Jetta. We've seen Jesse plenty of times. We hope he's good today. And then we have a Dodge Charger Daytona, looking good and beautiful, maroonish, reddish, with that big old wang in the back. All right, they're headed to the grid, and they're out of there for race number 1. It's Han in the S15 on the inside, but Brian pulls ahead just slightly ahead of the jump. Han leads by a bumper as they go over the jump. Han in front of Brian. Down into the turn they go. What an epic battle there we have between Han and Brian. Here comes Brian into the last stretch. Can he take down Han? Han across the finish line, S15 for first place, and does cross the plane despite flying almost off the track. Here comes the Dodge Daytona, and then Jesse across the finish line, bouncing off that curb, taking 1 point in race number 1. We waste no time, and we head right back to the starting line grid. They're going to rotate 1 position clockwise. It's Jesse in the front left and Brian in the front right in the Supra, getting pushed by the Dodge Daytona and Han in the S15. Oh, Jesse over the curb. He spins around. He's able to hold on to it, but he's blocking the Dodge Daytona. Jesse in reverse, but out front, it's Brian sliding around, spinning him backwards. Han pushing his way through. Can Han get by the Supra? Han gets by on the outside. What a move there by Han on the inside. Brian tries to get the Supra spun back around. Han on the outside. Here comes Jesse catching up to the Supra. Here comes the Dodge Daytona. Anyone's game for second, folks, but it's Han out front in the S15 for first place. Down across the finish line he goes. What an amazing run by Han there. Across the finish line, we have the Supra and the Jetta. Absolutely. Did the Supra cross the finish line? I know the Supra did cross the finish line. We saw the back wing cross the finish line. Unfortunately, Dodge Daytona did not cross the finish line, and he gets 0 points. The next race, they're out of there. Now it's Jesse's turn in the front position. He is looking good, but it's the Dodge Daytona and the S15 Sylvia over the jump first. Dodge Daytona trying to hold on, but Han is right on his tail. Here comes Brian and Jesse in the back. Han right in the back of the Dodge Daytona into the last turn they go. Can the Daytona hold on to it? Daytona in the air. He crosses the finish line, makes the victory, and then, dang, Jesse does the same exact move as he did last race. And unfortunately, the Supra gets stuck right there between the jump and the landing ramp. Let's watch Jesse flip over backwards, upside down, almost lands on the finish line, stopped just like he did in the last race. And we do have a photographer down. I don't know if you guys saw that, but there's a photographer laying on his back. We should probably get a medical crew out there. But there's too much racing to be done. We're going to head back to the starting line and see Han out front. Brian chasing him down in the Supra. Han up on the curb there for a second, if you guys saw that. Through the turn we go. That's shaking and baking. Down into the, I don't even know what this turn is. It's over 180 degrees. But then into the 180 finish. Down Han across the finish line and takes the race. I don't know how, he had some speed, but he cased the jump. Supra makes a jump. Daytona makes a jump. Jesse does the same exact thing. Cases it with his back tires. Almost slips over. It's Han moving on. And we have a tie for second place between Brian Supra and Dom in the Charger Daytona 500,000 billion. All right, it's a race-off, folks. Brian on the far side there over the jump first. He lands it. We've seen Brian in that Supra be much faster than that Dodge Daytona, but anything can happen. He slides his way into that turn. Around the finish line he goes. Can he hold on to it and keep that baby on the track? He does. Across the finish line, he takes the win, and he will move on. I think we're just doing a one and done in this situation. Dodge Daytona parked at the finish line. Supra will move on. Han and the S15 will move on. We have a Skyline, a 350Z, a Supra, and an S15 over there on the left-hand side. Let's meet the cars on the right-hand side of the bracket, at least group number 3. 4 more cars. It is Johnny Tran in the S2000, and then Leon in the R33 Skyline, and then we have a Nissan. That's a Subaru, you ding-dong. We have a Subaru WRX Integra, and then Hector, which is too slow to race, but he's in this race anyways. He's going to be run off with the money. Maybe he will run off with the money. We will find out right now, but he has to take down Johnny Tran, Leon, and a WRX STI first. Leon over the jump, flying out front in that R34. You saw the S2000 do a little bit of drift in that turn, but S2000 is no match for this R33 Skyline, who's absolutely cruising out there, slides across the finish line, down across the finish line for first place. S2000 for second. Here comes Hector holding it in for third, and then the WRX gets denied by the double, hits off that barrier, lands his way right back in between the jump and the landing, and will take a big fat goose egg in race number 1. They head back to the start line and they rotate positions. It's the WRX and the S2000 out in front. S2000 getting pushed by Leon, and the R33 Skyline over the jump they go. Is the S2000 going to be able to hold off that Skyline on the inside? What a beautiful pass there by Leon in the R33. Han took the outside. Who's Han? Han's in the last race. Johnny Tran took the outside. Leon took the inside. An amazing pass there. R33 will take 5 more points. S2000 will take 3 more points. Here comes Hector. And, Hector off the track. Hits the cameraman, who finally got back up, and now he's back down. and does not cross the finish line plane, he will get a 0-point finish for that. When we go, folks, if you're over the track and cross the finish line plane, it counts for the finish. But if you're off the track and do not cross that plane, then it is a DNF. So you got to keep that car on the track as you go over that finish line jump. It's tricky because you're flying and you know you want to win, but sometimes you just take off a little crooked. Into the second to last turn, dive bomb by Leon on the inside of the Civic hatchback, EG hatch. Down across the finish line, Leon takes race number 3. Here comes the Civic. Here comes WX. And watch out with this S2000. Up and over. Alley-oop. Look out, everybody. Whoa. Everyone goes flying. And holy cannelli. Whoa. That is ugly, folks. And because it's ugly, we're going to show it to you again. That was almost perfectly executed. He looks like he did that on purpose. He was in last place. He was pissed off. He turned and jumped directly over that fence and clobbered the cameraman and the fans and everybody else in his way. That's not very sportsmanlike, Mr. S2000. Down over the jump they go for the last race of this group, and it's the R33 out front early again. That car is a metal-based Silver Series car. A little bit heavier than the rest of these, and it's showing out there today, folks. Looking good on the track. Down across the finish line, he takes first. Here comes the S2000. S2000 crosses for second. Look out, everybody! Here comes the Civic, and here comes the WRX. What a clustered truck at the finish line. There's no trucks in this race. There's 3 cars. There's no... What's a cluster car? Somehow Johnny Tran and the S2000 moves on. And then with a perfect 20, it's Leon in the R33 with a flawless victory. But not victory yet. He still has a lot of cars to take down if he wants to consider a win in this tournament. And folks, here we do. We have more cars coming at you. We have Dom in the RX-7. We have Brian in the Mitsubishi Lancer from Too Fast, Too Furious. And then we have the original Mitsubishi Eclipse. Brian is driving 2 cars, apparently. And then we have the Chevrolet Camaro. That's a villain car. If you haven't seen our Heroes versus Villains Fast and Furious race, head back in our feed and check that out. It was the good guys versus the bad guys. Again, if you aren't playing in our Fantasy DIECAST Racing League, head to fantasy.tinytrackcars.com and get signed up where you earn points every single week. You can go back every single day and claim your daily tokens. You can use tokens that you earn from making picks to buy virtual cars and deck out your garage and show off to your friends and family and your competitors in the DIECAST Racing League. Hundreds of people are already playing. What are you waiting for? Head to fantasy.tinytrackers.com. The link is in the video description. Below that link in the video description, you'll see the link to a company called SPOOLHEADS Racing. And SPOOLHEADS Racing has designed this track that we are racing on right here, right now. He makes custom 3D printed track. So if you would like a setup for your house, it doesn't have to be this big, it doesn't have to be this elaborate, but all this kit is modular. So you can buy pieces and you can add as you go. Head to spoolheads.com and use code TTC for 5% off. Get yourself a drag track, get yourself an open track, buy yourself a kit, or just buy some little pieces and start putting together a track for you. If you're an adult that likes diecast racing like me, or if you want to play with your kids, I have a small track for my kids as well. They run monster trucks and all sorts of little cars down the track. It's an absolute hoot for myself and my family. So spoolheads.com, 5% off with code TTC. We head into this group, race number 3. What kind of action is going on? I haven't even been following this. I've been talking about spoolheads the whole time. RX-7 on the inside of the Camaro, but it's Brian in the Eclipse out in front. Can Dom run him down in the RX-7? It's flash of green down across the finish line to go. Green, red, and then the other cars, some more green that's not as pretty of a green, and then kind of a pukey green, yellow color. We have all sorts of shades of yellowy green vomit diarrhea colors in this group. Back to the top they head, and it's race number 4. The faster cars are in the back. We know that Evo's fast, but it always seems to have a problem with center of gravity issues and keeping those tires on the ground. But this track is a little more technical and a little bit less big air, so we might be able to keep that thing on the track. Up into the jump he goes, down across the finish line. Evo, RX-7, Camaro, and Eclipse. Camaro barely holds on to it. By 1 point, it's the Evo who moves on and takes out the Eclipse. and the RX-7 joins him in the next round, 16 points and 11 points respectively. That left-hand side of the bracket is shaping up quite nice. We have an S2000, an R33, an RX-7, and a Lancer Evolution. And folks, we're gonna head right back to the left-hand side of the bracket. We have a Skyline, an R34, that is. We have a Supra, we have a 350Z, and we have a Nissan Silvia S15. Silvia S15 looks like he's getting held up by DK, which allows Brian in the R34 to put some space between him and the rest of the competition. Down across the finish line he goes. Brian takes the win. Here comes DK, almost taking out a photographer. Han almost taking out the same photographer. That's Ben Flatten's long-lost brother. We haven't named him yet. Stephen Flatten. Maybe Stephen Flatten is his name. Rest in peace, Ben Flatten. You're still buried at Rainier Rallycross, wherever that track lies. It's actually in a box. The coffin that Ben Flatten was buried in is in a box with the rest of the pieces from the Rainier Rallycross track that's been torn down, and will make an appearance again in DIECAST Racing Tiny Track Cars history if and when we get a new space for Tiny Track Cars, which we're looking at actively. So thanks for the support here at Tiny Track Cars. As we grow the channel, we're going to expand the space and add more tracks. We're going to bring back Candy Mountain. We're going to bring back Rainier Rallycross. And all it's going to take is your support here to keep watching these darn videos, and I'll keep making them because I absolutely love DIECAST Racing, and I appreciate you guys being here to watch. I usually say this about 15 to 20 minutes into the videos because the only people still watching are the diehards that love this channel, and I stop the commentary and just take a little bit of a moment to appreciate you guys for being here. So if you've already left, you didn't get to hear this, but if you're still here, that means you're probably a diehard, and I appreciate you. So thank you. Down across the finish line, Brian Supra. Is Brian driving two cars in this race? A Skyline and a Supra. And then DK comes across for fourth place, almost does a nose slide across the finish line. Brian in the Supra out front, Brian in the Skyline out front. Han and the S15 and DK are falling back. Left-hand side, we have the DK Mobile and the Han Mobile. Over the jump they go. It's Han out front, followed by the Supra. R34 is in the back. Is he going to be able to make his way through the pack and make some passes? We find out right now. On the inside of the 350Z, what an amazing pass by the R34. Can he pick off anybody else, even though I think he has clinched his spot in the finals? But we'll find out right now. Now Brian is after Brian. Skyline's after the Supra. Down into the finish line stretch he goes. He passes the Supra, makes another move, and then the DK makes a move on the Supra right at the finish line, spinning over, flipping over. It's Brian in the R34 moving on, and we have a tie between Han in the S15 and the Supra. Because they had the same exact scores, and we don't know who to give the lane advantage, you guys know what that means. It's an overtake advantage. If you watched our video last week, we had a 14 race off between two cars to take the podium. That was for the third place podium. But in this one, it's Han and the S15 out in front of the Supra. Down across the finish line, he'll have his chance next race at passing the Supra. He'll start in the back. All this is going to take at this point is him to pass, and the Supra will be out of it, and Han and the S15 will move to the finals with Brian and the R34. Over the jump they go. Supra is in the air. S15's in the air. Supra sideways. It's not looking good for the Supra. S15 gets by on the inside. What an amazing view at that pass from that corner cam there. We have actually moved it for the next tournament. You'll see it on a different turn, but I do like those different angles at the track so you can kind of see the action that's going on here. Han on the S15 across the finish line. He wins the overtake challenge, and he'll move himself on to the next round with Brian in the R34. And what an amazing finals it's shaping up to be. We have a Nissan and a Nissan, a Silvia and a Skyline. Who is going to join them on the right-hand side of the bracket? We do have another Nissan in it, but we have also have a Honda and a Mitsubishi and a Mazda. This is an all-Japanese race here, folks. JDM, yeah. Over the jump they go. On the inside, the S2000 tries to take the pass on the RX-7, but he spins out and gets passed by the Eclipse. That's not an Eclipse, made by the same person, but that is an Evo. Out front, it's Leon in the R33 Skyline holding off the RX-7, R37, RX-7, R37. Wow, we have an R32, R33, R30, R34, R35, that little thing in America that they call the Godzilla thing, the GTR Skyline. And then we have an R37. We have a G37 Infinity, which is kind of made by Nissan, but I don't think there's an R37 yet. When will the R37 come out? 2095. All right, shut up, announcer. Let's get into the racing. Leon in the R33 still out front in first place. RX-7 coming around behind. The Evo looks like he's trying to catch up to the RX-7. RX-7 up and over. Oh my gosh, Steven Flatten. Look out, my buddy, my dude. Oh, you just got flattened. You're going to end up like your brother in the casket, Ben. Oh my gosh, Ben, I miss you, Benny. Bring back Ben. Bring back Ben. In the comments, hashtag bring back Ben. Bring back Ben. Let me know if you want Ben Flatten, the famous photographer, to make a return to the channel. They're in perfect Eclipse fashion. He does spin over. We know that is a common move for that Eclipse. Leon launching the RX-7 down the track. RX-7 has too much speed. Down across the finish line. He hangs on to it, takes 5 points in this race. But Leon, the R33, takes second. S2000 takes third. And it's a DNF for the Eclipse. The Eclipse. Why do I keep saying the Eclipse? It's a Mitsubishi Lancer Evolution, y'all. That's the Evo. One's all-wheel drive, one's not. One I would own and one I wouldn't. I don't know if I'd ever buy Eclipse. Maybe like a first gen. Like the Talon, like the first gen Eclipse GSX. Maybe, but not any new Eclipse. No, thank you. Anyways, speaking of Eclipse, I don't see any of those on the road anymore. I see nobody driving those things. They've just fallen apart, rusted out, and they're gone. All right, moving on in race number and group number right-hand side of the bracket, it's the R33 and the S2000. Unfortunately, the RX-7 moves home. We have a pretty sweet battle between one Honda and 3 Nissans for the finals of the New Blood Showdown. Unfortunately, the New Bloods, Leon, well, not Leon. Leon's an OG. Hector and the Civic, which we know was just released by Hot Wheels, and Edwin and the Integra, they've both been eliminated from this competition. Whoa! Do you see that squirrel in the track? R34 just spins around. Watch this. Bam! He spins himself right back forward. What an amazing move there. Hits off the R33, but does not have enough speed to hold off the R33 in reverse gear. Reverse flying, absolutely screaming out there. And then it's Han across the finish line taking this race. R33 taking second, R34 taking third, and an S2000 coming in last. I'm not sure how the S2000 made it into the finals. He must have got a little lucky, even though I'm rooting for it, because you guys know me. If it's one thing I love, it's S2000s and Porsches. That's who I usually root for. Do they always win? Not even close. But somehow, Brian in the R34 always seems to have a pretty fast car right here at Tiny Track Cars. The R34 is just an absolute monster out in the track, and he is leading this race right behind the S2000, who gets passed by the R33 and passed by the S15. He's a double spin, spins out, doesn't know what happened to him. Down across the finish line, it's the R34 in reverse, R33 forward, R34, R33, and S15, and then S2000. There's too many R's and S's and 15s and numbers and 3s and 4s and 1s and 2s. 2 races are done. It's a tie out front between Brian and Han in the R34 and the S15. Don't count out Leon. He's in third place, but he is out in front in this race. He starts in the front for the next 2 races. To the jump he goes. R34 is in the back. But can he make a move on Han? He's up top on his hood. R34 spins out. It's Leon out front. S2000 can't hold off Leon. I'm telling you, the S2000 is lighter than these cars. He's smaller than these cars, and he is just getting beat up out there. Poor Johnny Tran. He needs to get beat up anyways. Barely holding off the R34 is the S15 across the finish line. Leon moves to lead with 11 points right behind his S15. It's still anyone's game out there in the front between the R34, the S15, and the R33. But it's Leon in the R33 who's out front. Who's going to make it to the jump first? It's Brian and Han out front in the R33, but Leon squeaks in for the second place right behind the right behind the S15. Now he's right on the S15's tail, pushing Han out of the way. Down across the finish line he goes, trying to make a move. It's Han across the finish line first, Leon for second, Brian for third, and Johnny Tran for fourth. And what does that mean for the points, folks? It's a tie. It could not have been tighter than this, folks. We have a tie between the R33 and the S15. Johnny Tran will take fourth place. Brian in the R34 will take third place, but we have a race off for first and second. And if you're playing in our DIECAST Fantasy League at fantasy.tinytrackcars.com, Points are on the line here if you picked either of these cars to hit the podium. Both of them will hit the podium. They are 1-2. But we need to decide right here who is going to take the first place spot on the podium. And it looks like Leon in the R33 crosses the finish line first and will take the win. Nope, we're doing a 3-race challenge. Surprise. Here goes Leon on the outside, S15 on the inside. Who's going to make it to the jump first? Over the jump, it's Leon. Almost sliding into the inside is the Han in the S15, but Leon surges forward. Down into the last turn he goes, and across the finish line, he will take this best-of-3 tiebreaker and will win the Tiny Track Cars Fast and the Furious New Bloods tournament right here on the open circuit. Thank you so much for watching Tiny Track Cars. If you want to watch more of our videos, go ahead and click that box right in the middle of the screen. We appreciate you guys being here more than you know, and we're going to give you a slow motion run at Leon in the R33 as we close out this video. And please go watch more of our videos if you're sitting on the couch. We love to see you around. Oh, also drop a comment because we know we respond to them. And by we, I mean me. I respond to them. I'm Nick at Tiny Track Cars. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and get ready for more exciting moments right here at Tiny Track Cars, y'all. Bye.